Another weekend and we're back with your all-in-one show on corporates and startups, Companynama. I'm Shrestha Tiwari, kicking it off with the corporate world updates first. Low-cost carrier SpiceJet Limited has said that Carlyle Aviation now holds a 7.5% stake in the airline after converting $100 million of the outstanding dues into equity. Last week on Companynama, we had told you that SpiceJet was likely to sell a 5% stake in the airline to its largest lessor US-based Carlyle Aviation Partners, which now holds a 7.5% stake in it. SpiceJet has said that it now plans to hold discussions with other lessors to further deleverage its balance sheet. Carlyle also acquired a compulsory convertible debentures in Spice Express, which is SpiceJet's cargo arm. Paytm was in limelight the whole of last week with reports of stake sale by Ant and SoftBank in the company. According to the Economic Times, large investors in 197 Communications, parent of Paytm, including SoftBank and China's Ant Group, have discussed selling shares in the company through a secondary stock deal. These shareholders and the investment banks representing them had earlier approached Sunil Mittal of Bharti Enterprises and another Indian conglomerate with an offer to buy their stake. Paytm later denied the talks in a filing with BSE. Bharti Airtel has for the second time in a row grabbed more revenue market share, which is RMS, than Reliance Jio Infocom in the fiscal third quarter, helped by the sharp hike in base prepaid rates it took last November in Odisha and Haryana, along with share gains in rural markets. Loss-making Vodafone Idea continued to lose revenue market share in the third quarter FY23, unable to fight its financially stronger rivals Airtel and Jio in both urban and rural markets. Meanwhile, Bharti Enterprises chairman Sunil Mittal has said that India doesn't need another Vodafone Idea type of scenario, and that the return on capital invested for the telecom industry needs to rise, for which a tariff hike was necessary. He even hinted on a rate hike that is likely to happen in the middle of this year, but rejected the view that the increase would affect the common man. Singapore Airlines to inject further $267 million into Air India. It will give Singapore Airlines a 25.1% stake in the group following its takeover by Tata and merger with Vistara Airlines. Through this transaction, the airline will reinforce its partnership with Tata and immediately acquire a strategic stake in an entity that is 4 to 5 times larger in scale compared to Vistara. Last year, Tata and Singapore Airlines both agreed to inject fresh capital if needed to help lift Air India back to the highs. Vodafone Idea on 27 February said that the company has allotted 12,000 optionally convertible debentures of the face value of 10 lakh to ATC Telecom Infrastructure Private Limited. The company said that the capital raising committee of the board of directors has allotted a total of 12,000 number of unsecured, unrated and unlisted optionally convertible debentures of 10 lakh rupees each, that is of 1,200 rupees crore to ATC Telecom. Vodafone Idea said that the balance 4,000 number of OCDs shall be allotted upon receipt of application form and subscription money. And moving on to the segment surrounded on major controversies and disputes around corporates, which were those companies that were on the radar this week. Let's find out. On March 2nd, the Supreme Court ordered setting up of a committee to investigate Adani Group and suggest measures to strengthen the framework to protect Indian investors. The committee consists of O.P. Bhatt, J.P. Devdutt, Nandan Nilekani and K.V. Kamath, and also Somasekharan Sundaresan as the members. Former Supreme Court Judge A.M. Sapre will head the committee, and the committee's primary purpose will be to suggest measures to strengthen frameworks and investigate into the Adani Group, and also suggest measures to strengthen the statutory framework. The chairperson of Sebi will provide the required information to the committee, and the committee has been asked to submit its report within 2 months of time. In other news, Adani Group has said that it has sold minority stakes in 4 other companies to American equity investment boutique GQG Partners for 15,456 crore rupees. The stake sale is in Adani Ports and Special Economic Zone Limited, Adani Green Energy and Adani Transmission, and also Adani Enterprises. Sebi on 2nd March came down heavily on YouTube channel creators for manipulating stocks of listed companies by engaging in a pump and dump schemes. The regulator has barred 31 entities, including actor Arshad Varsi and his wife Maria Goretti, from the securities market for alleged price manipulation through YouTube and subsequently offloading and inflated the shares of Sadhana Broadcast and Sharpline Broadcast. So basically, Sebi had received certain complaints alleging that misleading YouTube videos had peddled false news backed by a large marketing campaign for additional reach were being uploaded to lure investors. A nexus of 31 players made unlawful gains of 41.85 crore rupees in Sadhana Broadcast case, while 24 players have allegedly gained 12.14 crore rupees in Sharpline Broadcast, which Sebi has directed to be impounded. Through this, Arshad Varsi and his wife made a profit of 29.43 lakh rupees and also 37.56 lakh rupees respectively. Sebi has termed the roles of them in the scheme as volume creator and profit maker. The government has written to the capital market regulator SEBI, reinforcing its opposition to the Hindustan Zinc Board's move to buy Vedanta's global zinc business in a $2.98 billion cash deal. After the Adani Group crisis, the shareholders of Vedanta are concerned over the company's ability to raise funds for meeting its debt obligation in the coming months. While the holding company, Vedanta Resources, recently released a statement assuring its investors' concerns, the Vedanta stocks had crashed over 15% to 275.5 rupees on March 2nd against 328 rupees logged at the end of January. Looks like financial influencers are pitching over Anil Agarwal's Vedanta being the new target of the bears. The NCLAT on March 2nd allowed a petition filed by lenders of Reliance Capital seeking another round of auction for the debt-ridden firm undergoing insolvency process. A two-member bench set aside an order passed by NCLT and said that the Committee of Creditors has the power to negotiate and call for a higher bid. The appellate tribunal permitted the COC to continue with the challenge mechanism and invite bids after 2 weeks. The NCLAT order came on a petition filed by Vistra ITCL, one of the lenders of Anil Ambani promoted Reliance Capital, challenging an order of NCLT which restricted further auction of the bankrupt firm. India's market regulator on 28 February issued interim orders in a case of alleged front-running at Axis Mutual Fund while issuing show-cause orders to the mutual fund and related entities. SEBI has directed that 21 entities will be barred from the capital markets until further orders. SEBI has identified 30.5 crore rupees as wrongful gains accrued due to the alleged front-running activities and directed that this amount be impounded from the entities. Tata Group stocks for a majority stake in Bisleri, one of India's largest bottled water makers, have stalled over valuation. As per reports, Tata Group was in advanced discussion to take control of Bisleri and the parties were working on finalizing the structure of a transaction. Bisleri's owners were looking to raise about $1 billion from the deal, but negotiations later hit a snag as the companies were unable to agree on a valuation. Although what's being said is that discussions between Tata and Bisleri could still resume and other potential suitors may emerge. Future Retail has failed to receive any plan for its revival and the lenders of the Kishore Biyani promoted company are expected to meet soon in order to decide the further course of action. The last date for the submission of a resolution plans for the company was February 28th, but the resolution professional did not receive any proposals, FRL said in a stock exchange filing on 28th of February. The NCLT has admitted the insolvency plea against Syntex Plastics, a leading maker of water storage tanks and plastic-based interiors. The Ahmedabad bench of NCLT admitted the application filed by its financial creditor Asset Reconstruction Company, claiming an outstanding amount of 350.28 crore rupees, which includes 215.77 crore rupees principal amount and also 134.50 crore rupees towards interest. Insolvency proceedings against SPTL were triggered as it was a corporate guarantor of loans given to Syntex BAPL Limited, and SBL is presently going through corporate insolvency resolution process and a bid of 1,251 crore rupees is pending for approval. However, NCLT said that the claim of the financial creditor is not fully met in the CIRP of SBL, and hence it has also directed to initiate insolvency against SPTL. Well, over to our showdown segment, let's take a look at what went down in the startup world this week. Venture capital firm Nexus Ventures Partners, which backed unicorns like Unacademy and Delivery, has closed a $700 million Nexus Ventures 7 fund. It will use the new fund to build startups across AI, SaaS, FinTech and commerce in India and also in the USA. Remember, Nexus Venture Partners' $700 million deal was also the second largest fund raised by the Indian VC firm. Earlier, Sequoia Capital India had raised $2.85 billion to invest in India and Southeast Asian startups in mid-2022. As per reports, Zomato co-founder and Chief Executive Officer Deepinder Goyal has resigned from the board of Urban Company as the Zomato-owned quick commerce company Blinkit may enter into the home services category. This move will put Zomato and Blinkit in direct competition with Tiger Global-backed Urban Company. Deepinder Goyal was appointed as the independent director on Urban Company's board in March 2022. According to reports, Blinkit has already started offering home chef services through a Gurugram-based company called Chef Cart, but there is no clarity on the services to be offered yet. Reports also say that Blinkit has set up a new team of existing group's employees and has also hired a workforce to launch this new vertical. Food delivery platform Swiggy has sold off its cloud kitchen business, Swiggy Access, to Kitchens At in a share swap deal. The move is part of the cost rationalization measures undertaken by the company, which had earlier laid off 380 employees, with the market turning tough in terms of raising fresh venture funding post-pandemic. After the deal, Swiggy will become a stakeholder in Kitchens At. Swiggy had invested about 175 crore rupees in the business between 2017 and 19 and had also invested in over 1 million square feet of real estate space across 14 cities and had said that it would enter another 12 cities in 2020. Although before the deal was announced on March 2nd, its presence had been scaled down to just 4 cities. Well, with that, it's a wrap on this week's Companynama. See you again next Saturday with more from the corporate and startup world. Until then, keep watching Money9 and a very happy and safe Holi to all the Money9 viewers.